Welcome to counting. Counting is basically mechanism to put the things together into various combinations. For example, if password is of 6, 7 or 8 characters long and some constraints are given on the generation of the password as shown in the slide, then how many different passwords can be generated? Or how many variable names of 4 character length can be created from a set of English alphabet and numbers in an arbitrary programming language. So counting all these things falls under discrete mathematics and is called as combinatorics. To start counting, there are two important basic rules, sum rule and the product. So sum rule, let m is the number of ways of doing a task 1 and n is the number of ways of doing task 2. Tasks are independent of each other, then the total number of ways that either task 1 or task 2 can be done, but not both, is m plus n. So let's go for the first problem. A student can choose a computer project from one of the three lists. The three lists contain 23, 15, and 19 projects, and the project does not repeat. How many possible projects are available for a student to choose from? So he can choose 1 out of 23 from first list. He can choose 1 out of 15 from the second, and 1 out of 19 from the third. So total number is 23 plus 15 plus 19. That is the total number of projects he is available for him. Okay, let's look at the second problem. Suppose that either a member of a mathematics faculty or a student who is a mathematics major is chosen as a representative to a university committee. How many different choices are there for this representative? There are 37 members of mathematics faculty and 83 mathematics majors, and no one is both faculty member and a student. So first of all, the people in the group of 37 and 83 are disjoint. So these two are disjoint sets. That's first thing. And we have to select only one member. So one member can be selected from 37 people, or one member can be selected from 83 people. So total number of ways that we have, 37 plus 83, that is equal to 120 ways to pick a representative. In the version of computer language X, the name of the variable is a string of 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 alphanumeric characters. Means the variable name can be of 1 character long, or at the max it can be 4 character long, where uppercase and lowercase letters are not distinguished. So it is case insensitive. Moreover, a variable name must begin with a letter and must be different from 8 strings that are reserved for the programming use. How many different variable names are there in this programming language X? So let P be the number of variables that can be generated. P1 be the variable names of length 1, P2 of length 2, P3 of length 4, P4 of length 4, and then there is given that 8 reserved words are there, so they cannot be used as variable name. So P1 we can have 26 variables, P2 26 into 36, as it's alphanumeric, the second character. So there are 26 alphabet characters and 10 numeric characters. So this position can be taken by 1 from the 36 characters. So same way of length 3 variable names and length 4 variables. If we sum P1, P2, P3 and P4 and subtract 8 from it, that is the total number of variable names that we can generate from for the language X. How many strings of 4 decimal digits have exactly 3 digits that are 9? So let's solve this problem. The strings can have the non-9 digit as their first one, or non-9 digit as the second one, or non-9 as the third digit, or non-9 as the fourth digit. So by using sum rule, there are 9 possibilities for the non-9 digit. So the answer is 36. So if A is the set of ways to do task 1 and B is a set of ways to do task 2, and A and B are disjoint, then we can either do task 1 or task 2 as sum of the cardinality of set A plus cardinality of set B. So the first counting rule that we had seen is the sum rule. Now we will understand the second rule called as product rule. So in this, if the consider that there are two tasks and m is the number of ways in which the task 1 can be completed and n is the number of ways in which task 2 can be completed. The tasks are independent of each other. That is, performing task 1 does not accomplish task 2 and vice versa. Then the number of ways both tasks 1 and 2 can be done is m into n ways. Okay, let's consider the first problem. There are 18 math majors and 325 CS majors. How many ways are there to pick one math major and one CS major? So we can choose one person out of 18 in 18 ways, and we can choose one person out of 325 in 325 ways. So total ways available are 18 into 325. How many functions are there from set A to set B? To define each function, we have to make three choices, one for each element of A. Each has four options to select an element from B. Okay, so first, so how many ways can each choice be made? So 4, 4, 4. So 4 cube, that is 64 ways are there. How many Boolean functions on n variables? That's, so 2 raised to 2 raised to n Boolean functions can be done. How many one-to-one functions are there from set A to set B? To define each function, we have to make three choices, one for each element of A. How many ways can each choice be made? Okay, so as this one-to-one function, so the first element will have all the four choices available. In the second, for the second element from set A, there are only three elements which are not mapped from set B. So he has only three choices. And for the third element, there are only two elements left from set B. So he has only two choices. So 4 into 3 into 2. So there are 24 such choices available. Okay. So what we're doing here is P43. So there are three unique choices out of four objects that are there for this. So now 1, 2, 3. So this is an ordered arrangement. So 1, 2, 3, 3, 1, 2 is called a permutation. There are n factorials, and that's why it is 24. Let's go to the next example. How many strings of 4 decimal digits do not contain the same digit twice? So now to answer this question, so we want to choose a digit, then another that is not same, and then another. So for the first position, we have 10 possibilities. For the second, we have 9 possibilities because the first digit we cannot choose again. We don't want, do not contain the same digit twice. So 9 possibilities. For third, obviously there will be 8 possibilities because the first digit has gone here, second digit gone here. So remaining digits are 8 possibilities. And then for the fourth digit, there are 7 possibilities. So if I multiply this, I'll get the total number of strings of 4 decimal digits that do not contain the same digit twice. Okay, let's look at another problem. How many strings of 4 decimal digits end with an even digit? Now, so first 3 digits have 10 possibilities. Now there's no restriction on duplication. So as there is no restriction on duplication, I can have 10 digits to choose the first position. I can have 10 digits to choose second position. I can have 10 digits to choose the third position. Okay. And then out of 10 digits, only 5 digits are even. So I have 5 values to choose the last position. So 10 into 10 into 10 into 5. So there are 5,000 possible strings of 4 decimal digits who do not have or which end with an even digit. Okay, so if A is the set of ways to do task 1 and B is the set of ways to do task 2, and if A and B are disjoint, then the number of ways we can do task 1 and task 2 is the product of the cardinality of set A and cardinality of set B. Now we'll look at some problems which are combination of product rule and sum rule. So let's look at the first problem. Count the number of ways to put the things together into various combinations. For example, if a password is of 6, 7 or 8 characters long and a character allowed is uppercase letter or a digit and the password is required to include at least one digit. How many passwords can there be? Okay, so we can do this as the combination of product rule and sum rule. So let the total number of possible passwords that can be generated, P is equal to P6 plus P7 plus P8, where P of I is the passwords of that length. So P6 indicates the password with 6 character length. Same way 7 and 8. So here we are applying sum rule. Now we can generate the total number of passwords for each length as, for example, we'll solve it for one of them. So for P6, we can have 36 raised to 6 combinations. 36 raised to 6 combinations minus 26 raised to 6 combinations. Okay, minus 26 raised to 6 combinations. So the password is, what is the condition given? The character is an uppercase letter or a digit. So there will be 36 characters. And the password is required to include at least one digit. Okay, password is required to include at least one digit. So when it is at least one digit, so one of the positions cannot have the character, that is alphabet. So minus 26 raised to I. So adding this, we get the total number of passwords that can be generated. Okay, so consider a wedding of 6 people and there are 10 people including the bride and groom. Okay. How many possibilities are there if the bride must be in the picture? Now, product rule, with the help of product rule, what we can say that place the bride and then place the rest of the people in the group. So the first place goes to the bride and the next place the other 5 people via the product rule. So in the first place, the bride can be in any one of the 6 positions, and there are 9 people to choose the second position, 8 for the third, so on and so forth. So the first position is of bride. So 9 into 8 into 7 into 6 into 5. So next 5 positions can be chosen for 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. So by product rule, what we get 6 into 98765. So there are 90,720 possibilities to do a picture with bride to be compulsory present. Okay. Now, how many possibilities are there if the bride and groom must both be in the picture? So again, we'll use the product rule and place the bride and groom and then place the rest of the party. So the first place the bride and groom and the next 4 places be the other 4 people. Okay, so the bride can be in one of the 6 positions and he can be in one of the 5 remaining positions. Okay, so total possibilities are 30. For the rest 4 positions, for the rest 4 positions out of the 4, the first position we have 8 people because first 2 people have gone in first 2 positions. That is bride and groom have occupied the first 2 positions. So now out of 10, 8 people are remaining. So 8 people can be chosen for the third position, 7 for the fourth, 6 for the fifth, and 5 for the sixth position. There are 1680 ways, and then multiplying with 30, so we get 50,400 possibilities where both bride and groom are present in the picture.